Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I'm sharing the peer deck link with you people in the chat box. Please log into peer deck. This is the code. In case you're not able to use the link, then please .com and use the link JNU-WTU.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, actually, I was not able to join early. It was in physics class.
You were not able to?
Join early, I was in physics class.
Okay, no problem, no problem. I can see only 30 students at the moment who've joined peer deck. Okay, I'm beginning with this session and students continue to join. I'm not blocking the code. So begin by answering this question that you can see in the prompt there, that is there in front of you. There is a difference between leader and leadership. Drag your dot to indicate whether you agree or disagree. So get going. Others who haven't logged into peer deck, please quickly log in. We've been discussing the concept of team building, leadership, leaders, the interconnection between the two. In the last class, we discussed the Tuckman model of how teams are built up, how team building takes place, and how they go about completing their tasks through the different stages. I hope nobody has any doubt regarding the Tuckman model. Yes. Hope everybody is clear with the Tuckman model of team building, group formation or team formation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's wonderful. So does Parth represent all the students in EEE CSE 5?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Is Parth the voice of the entire class? What about other students?
Yes,
ma'am, he's a messiah.
It's clear, ma'am.
Sorry? Raise your hands, all of you, those who have no doubt at all in whatever that has been covered till date. Raise your hands, please. See, your exams are going to be a multiple choice objective. So that doesn't, and you people know that objective papers do not require mugging up the concepts. It requires understanding of the concept. So we are going to, maybe on the LMS, you're going to find so much of matter. Don't get intimidated by that, because that matter is reference material for you. So that is not meant for mugging up. That's for understanding. So that understanding of the concept is important. If you understand the concept, you'll be able to attempt the paper well. howsoever confusing the questions might seem. What about others? Yes, please raise your hands. There are half the class is still non-responsive, and that I will consider it means that you people have not you have certain doubts, and I'll begin by sorting out those doubts then. Shekhar, Rijul, Prajwal, Aditya.
Yes, ma'am.
Prajwal, you have any doubts regarding the concepts that we've covered?
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I thought I raised my hand.
Okay. Aditya Chaube, Aditya Rajput, Akarshit, Aryan and Shekhar. I think perhaps maybe these students are not in the class. Okay, Rajput is there.
No, ma'am, I'm here.
Aditya Chaube, Akarshit. Aryan, Shekhar, Aditya Chaube.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here too.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Aryan, do you have any doubts? And Aditya?
No, ma'am.
Then why have you not raised your hand?
I didn't notice it wasn't there.
You didn't listen. Shekhar Vashisht, where are you? In the balcony with a cup of tea. Shekhar Vashisht? Is there any IPL match going on at this moment?
No, ma'am.
Not.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. It's later.
Okay, so please
He's watching highlights maybe.
message me Shekhar Vashisht's name and write non-responsive in the class. It simply means Shekhar has just logged into the class and then he has somehow somewhere disappeared. Because had there been any problem with the mic, the student could have used the chat box to maybe intimate that there's some problem or whatever, but there is no response. It means the child entered the class and then went out. It's as good as that, right? So now, good, you can please bring your hands down. That's wonderful. We should never have any doubts in our minds. If you do not ask how and why, you will never get the answers. I hope you people are answering. You have answered the question. Are you facing any problem with Peer Deck?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, 42 students are there who are logged in. Let me see the responses now. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Can you see
Yes,
the
ma'am.
dots? So there's just one student. Some of you are just stuck somewhere in between, unable to decide or unable to drag the dot. So, okay, I would like you people, somebody who disagrees that there is no difference between leader and leadership, I would like to come up with your logic or your rationale, please. Whosoever the student is. Don't ever think that majority opinion means that okay, fine, they are on the right side.
I think there is no difference because a leader should have leadership qualities, and the only reason he is a leader because he possesses all those qualities. I mean, it's not necessarily that all leaders would have that quality, but majority of them do. So I think there shouldn't be any difference between a leader and leadership.
Okay, so there shouldn't be any difference between leader and leadership. Okay. Others, can you want to answer the question, or have you forgotten to bring down the hands? Yes, Parth?
I think we agree with this topic because a leader can be decided based on his qualities, or like the previous leader has suffered some major injury or was not able to serve, then we temporarily decide a leader for that particular group, so that might have or might not have leadership
Not.
qualities.
Okay, great. Yes, Prajwal.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
No problem, Prajwal. You're lost in the class. I'm
I'm
going to
just
ask you
messing
3
up.
more questions today. So be alert now. Okay?
Ma'am, I am, but I'm just messing up here and there. I have like,
Yeah, you fidgety. Yes, Yash? Yash Kapoor, do you want to say something?
No, ma'am. Sorry, I actually left my hand raised from earlier.
This is a good example of ineffective listening. Hiren,
Yes, ma'am.
is there any observation you want to make? Or you also forgot to bring
No,
down
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I also forgot to.
Okay, that makes it so easy for me to deal with the listening skills topic with you. I feel like starting with that topic just now. Anyways, so okay, yes. So I think it was who Aditya. No, I forgot to register the name of the student who was saying that there seems to be no difference between leader and leadership. Who was that?
Ma'am, it was me, Daniel.
Okay, yes. Okay, Daniel. So this is what you feel, that there is no difference between leader and leadership. And the reason that you give is that basically a leader is supposed to have leadership qualities. That is by virtue of the leadership qualities only, an individual assumes that position, right? You're absolutely right, Daniel. But there can be situations, and many times there are situations that you have you have one official leader in a group, a dedicated leader in the group, and different people, they assume different leadership roles at different time at different point. Despite that, right? For example, you had monitors in school, you have CRs in the class just now. So even before any kind of leadership role was assigned to officially designated to a person, some people or 1 or 2 students from your class must have started assuming the responsibility of coordinating with the teachers. Not everyone, but just a select few, right? So sometimes it happens that different people at different time, they play different leadership roles in spite and despite of the fact that there is already a designated leader, right? And it is sometimes you get this role of a leader because of the position that has been given to you, right? For example, you cleared a certain test, a certain exam, and by virtue of clearing that exam, you occupied that position, right? Every job, particularly the government sector's jobs, when we talk about, they do not go through the rigors what the corporates they apply while selecting candidates for different positions. So there they might not make the people undergo group discussions and all to understand whether they possess leadership qualities or not. But yes, during the interview, they might pose certain questions. So by virtue of your intellect, by virtue of your score, by virtue of your performance during the interview, you are able to occupy that position. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have those managerial capacities in you, those administrative capabilities get manifested, they get projected when you start handling the people around you, right? So you can be, we talk about the de jure and de facto leaders. So de jure leader is somebody who has been officially designated and recognized, and de facto is somebody who is not officially recognized but assumes that position because of maybe mass popularity. Like I said, you are informally recognized by the people. So there could be a de jure and a de facto CR in the class. Somebody who holds the designation and by virtue of the designation is a leader. Somebody who doesn't hold the designation, but because of the qualities in that person is able to take the lead, is more proactive, right? Is more concerned about the needs, right? That person becomes the leader. And when we talk about leadership is a concept, right? it is an amalgamation of so many things. It's about your value system. It's about your belief system. It's about your how you connect and communicate with people. It's about your people handling skills, how your level of empathy, how your level of persuasion. Your persuasion is a very integral, important skill that a leader must have. Right, your power, your ability to influence the people, right, and motivate the people towards the completion of a task. An individual who is able to recognize the qualities and characteristics of the people in the team. So there are many things that go into defining what is the meaning of leadership. So at times you may not have these qualities, but you may have the position. The other times you may have you may not have the position, but you may be possessing all these qualities with you, right? So sometimes you're a leader, but your poor leadership, you're not able to provide that leadership. Other times you're not a recognized leader, but you still assume that role of a leader. Is it clear? So there are different types of leadership styles that we talk about, and the basic three distinct leadership styles are the autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire leaders. Okay, how would you define these three broad categories? You will come across many categories also of leaders, but depending upon the situational context, we have autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire leaders. So would anybody like to maybe explain what do we understand by autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire leaders? Who are these individuals?
Ma'am, we can say the autocratic individuals are the ones who don't listen to others. They're like, my word is the last word, it's set in stone. That's gonna happen.
Yes, my way or
The-
the highway.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
The
exactly.
democratic are like just like the system. The democratic system is like he's gonna talk to others, take their notes, and then devise a solution. And the
Good.
laissocratic is, we
Yes.
can say, laissocratic can be the person who assumes that they are the leader. I'm not sure about the laissocratic, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. The other two were correct. Yes, Vihan.
Laissez-faire, sorry, leadership is exactly the opposite of autocracy. Instead of a single person making all the decisions, it's usually, excuse me, a group, an organization, or a team of people who make a few decisions and allow people who work under them to make solutions to it.
Yes, you allow people to take, there is a free hand that is given. This is something that at this stage you expect, you want your parents to be with you, like laissez-faire, non-interfering at all, right? Or like even if they are democratic, if your parents, their style of bringing you up or coordinating you at this stage, now it's more about coordination. Their style may be democratic. They first seek your opinion, then they give their own opinion, and then you try to kind of negotiate between the two. Autocratic, well, that there is no situation, there is just no possibility of a compromise. Laissez-faire is when there is just no interference at all. I have assigned you the work and then I'm not even going to bother about it. Right. Now, this is exactly the hands-off approach. That is the laissez-faire approach. You prefer giving the freedom to the members in the group and they can implement their own decisions. So I have given you a task and I tell you that I am nowhere. I'm a part of the team. Even you can assign me also the work whenever it is required. I'm not going to interfere in your decision at all. The choices that you make and are not going to be questioned. Now, out of these three leadership styles, which one do you think is more preferable?
Democracy.
Democracy.
Okay, yes. Why do you think it is democratic and why not laissez-faire? Autocratic, it's pretty clear. Okay, fine.
Because feedback is also very necessary. If the lower levels are not working as they are supposed to be, in laissocratic they are not giving the feedback to the higher levels, which is very important for, let's say, development of something.
Okay, good. Yes, Vihan.
I feel like there'd be less accountability in laissez-faire, especially since that there's no one is, if you're just handing off everything to people in the lower groups, etc., then who's going to be responsible for anything? And when something goes wrong, then there's no one to.
Then the person concerned assumes the responsibility. No, it's just like Vihan. I am involving you in a project. I make you handle that project. Now it's your wish, Vihan. You choose the team of your choice. You handle the project the way you want to, and I'm off it. I will more be concerned about whether the project is completed or not completed at the date given. And there is like hands-off approach, like it says, I'm completely off it. So I am not micromanaging you, not even macro. I'm just kind of a macro management, maybe. Yes, Aryaman.
In this method, ma'am, wouldn't decisions be taken faster?
In which method?
Ma'am, the last one.
The laissez-faire.
Yes.
You're asking me or you're telling me?
Ma'am, I'm telling ma'am that it will take less time because the leader, meaning the person can take his own decisions. If he makes a mistake, then he has to own up to it. Ma'am, it even leads to personal growth, I think so.
Okay, that is a good aspect. Can there be any pitfalls also? Yes, Parth?
If we are not checking that the work is done, then the task distribution might be fast, but if the task is not able to finish, then what is the point of distributing the task?
Okay, you're trying to say that this is the pitfall, that where there is no monitoring, there is a possibility that the task might not be completed on time, or people may not be able to take their responsibility or their task seriously. They might not assign it that priority or importance, or they may be lags and careless in their approach and attitude because there is no monitoring hand.
No, ma'am, that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, suppose there is a stadium, the government has to build a stadium, and it gives the task to some contractors. They do not have to send a feedback to the government, so they might build the stadium according to their according to specifications, which might not comply with the original specifications. Like, there's a broad category which specifies, but the minute things which will not be specified, which will be reflected in the feedback. So it is very important to give the feedback, and it is in democracy.
Okay. That's very... Yes.
I think in the last style there will be a lot of ruckus. Laissez-faire. Yes, ma'am. Laissez-faire. There will be a lot of ruckus, and people will be pointing fingers at each other if a decision goes wrong. So they'll be pointing fingers.
Say there can be leadership crisis also. It's like everybody's responsibility, nobody's responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
That kind of a situation. Is there everything bad with the autocratic style? I understand you people are very clear about laissez-faire, democratic.
No, ma'am.
Is autocratic leadership
good
all
sometimes
that
actually.
Bad?
Decisions
This
are
is one
much
of the
more
GD topics that I might give you. Yes, Parth?
It is not bad until unless the work until unless the leader is thinking about all the situations which might happen according to the decision. If the decision made by the leader is wrong, which according to him might be correct, but according to the population is wrong, then the decision may cause havoc. But if it is taken very seriously and very thoughtful, then it is very good.
Fine. Okay. Yes, Prajwal.
Ma'am, in an ideal world, autocratic system would be really good, because one of the few drawbacks of the democratic system is that a lot of ideas and all sometimes lead to the wrong thing getting chosen, and also the fact that the public also has a say in the decision is not always a good idea, because let's be real, the public is public. Not everyone has good ideas. A few percentage of people.
But here the democratic style, Prajwal, would be like if you are a leader in your team, then public over here becomes your team.
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to say that. Yeah.
Okay.
I just somewhat went into the proper political democracy.
Okay, yeah, I could feel that. Yes, Vihan?
Ma'am, it depends what aspect you look at it from. For example, autocracy can be extremely efficient, especially in societies where democracy is very slow. For example, right now, if we had to put in, I don't know, if we had to pass a law it would take months and months and months of legislation, and then people discussing it, and then some people saying, no, we need to change this, and then it'll go for months. Whereas if it's autocracy, it could immediately change, depending on whether or not one person, it would either pass or would fail immediately. But there are also other aspects of it. For example, I don't know, uh, autocracy has a bad history, especially with dictators like Hitler, etc. And it results in the one person who is autocratic, their views becoming the views of the entire nation. For example, well, Hitler hated Jews.
Many
So
examples are there, right?
yeah, there are quite a few examples.
Yes. Yes, Aditya?
Ma'am, the workload and responsibilities on the leader increase in autocracy.
That leader is fond of taking that workload, and actually that leader has people doing the work for him. The only thing is that the decision will be mine. I am the one who's going to decide. So that person, but yes, there is centralization of authority, not the work. The work is always segregated. That person always has those those confidants to do the work for him. Do you think Hitler was doing all the work on his own? No, the strategy was Hitler's. The speeches were being made by him. But the rest of the work, the implementation was being done by those people who had complete faith. They were completely, let me say, smitten by Hitler. That is why I said persuasion is a very, very important quality that an individual must possess. But Aditya, in some way you are right that yes, entire burden is on one individual, but let us not call it burden. It's like centralization of authority. Yes, Prajwal? The others can start working on that link that I've shared, yeah? Okay, Parth. Yes?
In autocracy, the communication skills are very important. If you are able to convince the masses that your decision is right, then you will become an effective leader because you are able to convince other people. Like Hitler was able to convince other people. So
that's what I said. No. Persuasion is. Oh, sorry. I interrupted. Yes, Parth. Please continue.
Ma'am, if we remove all the things like Hitler killing Jews and all that thing aside, then Hitler was actually a very successful leader because he was able to communicate his ideas to the masses and was able to convince them.
Okay, yes, yes. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
You're absolutely Parth. You're absolutely right, Parth. Now, one thing that I would like to ask you by the time you people, I hope you people have access to the link that I've shared.
Yes, ma'am.
You people have the access to the link?
Yes, ma'am.
It's just ending up in a black screen for me for some reason.
Yes, ma'am. The link.
Others are able to access the link?
Yes, ma'am.
Then please access it once again, maybe, just copy paste it on some other on a different browser and do it. So there's one very interesting question that I'd like to ask you, that do you think a leader must be autocratic to a certain extent? Is autocratic approach the requirement of efficient leadership?
To a certain percentage, ma'am.
Why?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, because if he is busy listening to all the people's input and he's taking a lot of time, then I think it's more inefficient of his qualities. I mean, he should just strike on one decision that yes, this is right.
Okay. Yes, Vansh, good.
It is possible that there may be a disagreement on a topic between members. So there must be a person who can take the final decision over them.
Very good. Yes, Satvik. Samir, yes? Samir Chaudhary? Okay. So
yes, ma'am.
Fidgeting your screens. Ravi, are you trying to say something?
No, ma'am. Actually, by mistake I spoke.
Okay, okay. Yes, Samir. Yes, Parth.
It is important because if the leader was easy to deviate from his own ideas, then his idea might be very good, but some other people which are able to present their ideas more with more
And
focus.
moreover, sometimes difficult decisions require autocratic approach.
Yes, ma'am.
Some decisions are not very easy. So sometimes it is the will of the leader that has to and it must prevail. Right? So and it will be very difficult for you to coordinate the functioning of the team if you are laissez-faire, or if you're completely democratic. There will be delay in decision making. 10 minds means 10 different ideas, 10 different approaches. You have to be somebody who narrows down on one particular option or one particular solution, or at times take the decisions, the reins of the discussion entirely in your hands when you feel that no, it's not taking any headway. Right? So at times, yes, that autocratic style, that autocratic approach is necessary. Right? You will mostly find that an ideal leader will always be a mix. Anyways, have you answered the link that I've shared with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm still getting a black screen. I'm
Still
sorry,
getting
ma'am.
black screen?
Ma'am Prajwal, I refreshed it a bunch of times. It's just not giving it. Let me try and change the browser I'm using.
Yeah, change the browser. Maybe it works. Let me check. No, it's working. See?
Ma'am, we need to submit
Okay,
it
ma'am.
somewhere,
Just
or
wait.
it's...
Let me just fill it up. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, dear.
Ma'am, we need to submit it something where?
No, you're going to get the response. No. Have you got the response after submission, Neha?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Democratic, it said.
Then I think you've maybe left it midway, or something has gone wrong with your maybe connectivity.
Okay, ma'am, I'll try it again.
Hannah, try it once again. There must be some issue. You will get the answer whether your style is democratic or autocratic, the leadership style.
Okay,
you will get the answer to that, and there will be an elaboration on that. Okay?
I can't find any option to submit.
Can others please guide the students?
I'm a third. Ma'am, I'm authoritarian leader.
Yeah, your voice. I was about to say that, Prajwal, you might end up being authoritarian. So Prajwal, can you please help other students why they are not able to get the response?
I don't know, you just fill it up, you just have to click it. It's not that hard. You just have to click it, it'll show it. You don't even have to submit it.
Just enter, press enter.
Yeah, I think you need enter too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right? So this was just one, a link that I wanted to share with you so you people can understand what leadership category do you fall in personally, right? So now we talk about the contextual leadership. This was exactly that I was referring to when we were discussing about, is there a difference between leader and leadership, that sometimes different people assume different leadership roles at different situations, even when they are not leaders, right? So people might not be born leaders, but they become a leader depending upon a context or an environment that requires a particular skill set which only they possess. Right. So a leader as a technician, now this is a role that occurs when you have skills that others do not have, like, the technical skills that we talk about. The examples are there in front of you. So there is this one individual who can fix a particular machinery or something, a system in the organization. So at that particular moment, that individual assumes leadership role. That person will be dictating the terms to everyone. You're the one running the show at that moment. Then there is a leader as a conductor. I hope you people know who is a conductor. The person who, you must have seen the one who, the conductor is in the central role in some kind of an orchestra. The person who's giving the directions. Now, I really do not know the technical term for that, but yeah, that individual is known as the conductor, right? So the leader as a conductor role. So you integrate the functioning of a certain, let's say, a team at a particular, or a particular target that has been set. You collaborate with a group together, right? You keep the tempo of the group together. You keep the energy of the group. So you are working in a team, you have a designated leader. Sometimes you have very stressful situations, and there is that individual in the group who's very positive, very optimistic, has very positive vibes, and that individual keeps the spirits of the group, the spirit, of the group alive, increases the energy level of the group, the enthusiasm. If somebody is feeling very stressful, the person acts as a very important stress buster in that individual's life. So within a team, there is an individual who is able to cater to the behavioral, psychological needs, which might not be done by the official leader of that team. Right, you coordinate the entire functioning sometimes. So some task has been given, and a person automatically starts assuming that, okay, fine, so has given us this task, and this is how we go about with it. You simply start assuming that role, right? And there could be n number of reasons for that. You're able to put the people together even when you are not in that officially in that designate position. Right? I hope I'm making sense to you. If I am not, then please answer this query.
Ma'am, can you show the previous slide once?
Can I change the slide now?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt? Let me see the responses. Okay, now there are two people who seem to be a little confused, and there is one individual seems to be stuck somewhere. So can you please come up with your doubts? Anybody has any doubt, or any individual who has any confusion or anything? Never hesitate to ask questions. This situation has given you a very comfortable option of not even being visible. If you have any kind of inhibitions in asking questions. Shivansh Binani?
Ma'am,
Shivansh?
it's Shivansh Sharma.
No, there's one Shivansh Binani also.
Okay.
Yeah. Shivansh? Shivansh, any doubt? Any question? I think Shivansh is facing some connectivity issue. No problem. Shivansh, you can please use the chat box to answer. Shivansh Sharma?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt, Shivansh?
No, ma'am. Ma'am, it's
Sure.
okay.
Can I ask about?
Yes, Ibrahim.
It is about the sentence when it says that the leader as conductor keeps the time and tempo of the group.
Yes.
Basically, no, ma'am, it's not a doubt. I got it.
You got it? Okay, great, wonderful. Now, who is this individual who's still confused? I'd like to take up their doubt, because I'm about to wind up this topic today then. Nobody? I do not know what this... Oh, okay, that's great. Let's move ahead then. So, one of the examples, if you happen to watch that movie or any of the movies that you might have, the sports related movies, When we give an example of leadership, coaches are known to be the models of leadership, right? So a leader as a coach is a wonderful combination of talents and skills. You know, he's a teacher, he's a motivator, he's the goalkeeper, keeper of the goals of the group, the person who keeps the vision, the mission of the group intact and also motivates others to achieve that goal, right? Like I said, your leader can be autocratic at times. You have to give that pointed direction to the group wherever it is required. And then there are situations when the coach doesn't play a very active role. If you remember the Tuckman model, the person, the coach stands out of the field and lets the players take the main role and lets them deal with the situation, right? The coach is an individual who defends the team, who protects the team. So you might be an individual, you know, and such leaders are very popular within the team. You may be blasted by that leader, but when it comes to representing the team or defending the team or protecting the team from the outside, the coach stands like a wall that come what may, my team is absolutely right and absolutely fine. And if you have actually done something wrong, you might be, you know, the person might give you good dose within the cabin, but when it comes to the outside world, he's a perfect protector of the team, right? He's a great motivator. You must have seen how coaches, they are very autocratic in their style of leadership, but then they know how to motivate the team, how to encourage the people, the team members. And similarly, when you have a leader who has all these qualities, a person who's a motivator, a person who allows you to and makes or celebrates your small achievements also, you really feel like giving your heart and soul to the work assigned to you, right? And they are the ones who keep the energy of the group intact despite all the odds. They help you to focus on your goal. This is something you will realize when you start participating in the group discussion. There will be one individual in the group who will not let you wander away from the topic, the person who will help you be on the track and come to some kind of a, you know, a conclusion that makes sense, right? So over here, these are some 5 important traits that have been highlighted, which give, you know, which positively influence a group. Thomas Peters and Nancy Austin, they have identified these 5 important traits that produce excellent leaders or coaches or leaders who have that style of functioning like that of a coach. Orientation and education. Now, who will explain what do we understand by orientation and education? What does it mean over here, orientation and education?
It's introduction and teaching.
Yes, exactly. Introduction and teaching, imbibing or inculcating those required skills in the team, or sometimes making people realize what they are worth, right? Education is not just your degree that you are acquiring. Nurturing and encouragement. This is something that nurturing, what do you mean by nurturing? Encouragement, you understand. What is the meaning of the word nurturing? Yes? What happens when you nurture something or somebody?
You take care of all their needs.
You take care of all their needs. Okay. Can you be more elaborate? Can you give an example of a formal situation? It could be
formal
the field,
situation.
it could be office.
The formal situation can be a boss nurturing their colleague by helping them with their problems and their issues that they are facing in their workspace environment.
Yes, very right, very good. Or we can also say
nurturing could be also said that if a boss or a leader who helps their team members to identify their own
yes,
strong points and work on them.
Work on them or work on the weaker points also.
Yeah, yes.
Right. Right. Yes, Vihan. Anything else?
it's kind of like protecting someone and teaching them at the same time.
Yes.
So, yeah. So if
That
you're
is
taking someone on like, I don't know, if it's like students
gradual
and teachers when
growth.
they're at a very young age.
Yes, it's a gradual growth. So you're a new joinee in the organization or in the office, and how you are being mentored. It's the mentoring that is being done to you. You're being given. How you're being mentored, how you are being introduced to the system. Gradually, slowly, your skills are being recognized. You're being introduced to so many things. So you are being nurtured. Your growth, gradual growth is happening in the organization. Assessment and correction. Parth, you was emphasizing this point. He emphasized this point in quite detail, that feedback is very, very important, a trait. And sometimes you have to be really ruthless. Other times you have to be really, you need to understand a person gets motivated better with positive feedback or with negative feedback. Some people get motivated when you give them negative feedback. Other people feel motivated when you make them realize, oh, wow, what a wonderful job you've done. I knew you had this quality in you. Right? You have to make this clear distinction which kind of assessment, which kind of feedback is going to work. Listening. The next topic that we're going to deal with is going to be listening and counseling. That's very, very important. A good leader has to be an effective listener and a social listener and empathetic listener. If you're not a good listener, you're anything but a leader. Because only then you will be able to understand the pulse of your people. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand it. Establishing group emphasis. What do you mean by this? Establishing group emphasis? Yes, Aditya?
Ma'am, I have a doubt on a previous point. You said a good leader has to be a good listener.
Yeah.
But how will, if a leader is like we studied in the previous slides that autocratic or authoritative leader, they usually don't listen to the group members and rather take the decisions and
in their own hands.
Yes, ma'am. So how it will work with them?
It doesn't work with them.
So, ma'am, are authoritative or autocratic leaders not considered as good leaders?
See, generally we don't find them good leaders because they do not value the majority opinion or do not have that empathetic approach towards their team. Right, it's like I said, my way or the highway kind of approach. But yes, an ideal leader has to be autocratic also at times. So and that is why this example of the coaches has been shared. Coaches are not all goody-goody. Have you ever seen a coach who is not a hard task master? You'll never find such a coach who's all the time goody and nice with the team.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? There are times when you have to be very ruthless. And that strictness that discipline is very, very, very important. Right? So Aditya, when it comes to autocratic leadership, autocratic leaders do not have that listening ear. And that's true. Or they may like to listen to only those people, or rather hear only those people who share their viewpoint. Okay. And are only furthering their interest that furthers their own ambition. So that becomes a bit problematic. If you are a combination that at times, when some very crucial decisions are to be taken and you take the call, so that is also very important. But if you're just autocratic, that I feel is a bit problematic. Sometimes your team members can have better opinion than you have. And you have to be that accepting that somebody is better than you.
Okay, ma'am.
Right. No, if you have any doubt or any disagreement, you can openly come up with that, Aditya.
No, not yet, but I'll surely do that.
Definitely, definitely, please. Yes, Parth.
You said that leaders must be good listeners, but we naturally assign extroverts to be good leaders, while it is that introverts are good listeners.
I didn't get your point, Parth.
you said that listeners are a leader must be a good listener, but we naturally assign extroverts to be good leaders while they are bad at listening.
Now, how you're correlating it with listening?
Because extroverts tends to, well, introverts by nature tends to listen more than extroverts.
Okay. No, it's not a necessary part that a person who is extrovert will not have a listening ear, or a person who's introvert are good listeners. The only thing is they speak less, right? And people who are extrovert, they are more socializing, they are more into the society, into the people, they're more and it's not necessary that they are not good listeners. This is somewhere, but yes, they have the confidence to speak, they have the confidence to talk. So here I would little bit maybe disagree with you, I would like to disagree with you over here. And the work that is assigned is not assigned keeping in mind who's a good listener or who's not a good listener. It depends upon the skill that a person has. Right, Parth? You are open to disagree. I have no problem, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Somebody else had also raised the hand. I think it was Rakshit.
Hello, excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Rakshit.
Ma'am, it was just by mistake. Sorry.
Okay, no problem, right? So yes, who will try to explain what do you understand by establishing group emphasis? A good coach, an effective coach must be able to establish group emphasis. Team above self, right? That is the kind of approach you're able to inculcate that sense of belongingness to the team, right? When I'm taking up these points with you, it's like the different sports movies that I've watched, different scenes are just crossing my mind. And you take any one of any such movie and you start watching it and you start correlating these points and you'll find them to be so true.
Chak De India.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's an absolutely perfect example for this. All these 5 points, these 5 traits that I am talking about. Right. So leadership, team building, these are 2 such concepts which are very closely intertwined with each other. One is incomplete without the other. To be a leader, you need a team, and a team automatically needs a leader. They share a symbiotic relationship with each other. Now, what kind of a leader you want to be, or what kind of a team member you want to be? You know, sometimes it's like we are better as a team member than a leader. You need to recognize that quality in you. It is not that team members have no importance. A leader is a leader because of the team that a leader has. Sometimes you might not have good administrative or managerial skills, but your technical skills are very good. Your other skills are very nice. You need to focus on those skills. Like we discussed the example of Sachin Tendulkar the other day. Sachin Tendulkar is the god, but when it comes to leadership, when it came to captaincy, being the captain of the team, he was not that successful. So sometimes you have a better skill, a technical hand. Other times you have quality of, managing the people around you. You're a better manager than a worker. So you need to find out that quality within you. So with this, we bring closure to this topic. If you have any observations, if you have any doubts, we can take up those doubts tomorrow in the class, right? So have a nice day, stay safe, stay healthy, and take care of yourself.